Hey, guess what? It's another unexpectedly random product review. Wow, that was not the clip I thought that was. Oh well, we're gonna roll with it because that's part of the fun. So this is a little bit different product review. I say that probably a lot in a lot of my different product reviews. But we're gonna be taking at some international snacks, foods. One of those words. So we have three items we're going to be checking out today, and the first is let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. Um, this is gyunyu keiki. Um, that is it. It essentially translates to milk cake. Um, it was selected because I misinterpreted it as being similar to milk bread, which it is not. Uh, so we're going to give that a try. There's a possibility that I've tried these before, because it looks familiar, but I've been to the same store that we visited that we got this one from previously. So yeah, I may have just seen it there. The next thing that we're going to try is something that I don't remember what got me on this tangent, but something I was looking up or going to make or something at some point um, took me down the path of the pandan. And this one is pandan cake. This actually comes from the Philippines, and it is a plant, the pandan plant, and it's essentially a chiffon cake, is my kind of my understanding. But the pandan has been called the vanilla of southeastern Asia, I believe. Um, so it's got kind of a almost vanilla and nutty flavor to it from what I've discovered. So we're gonna give that a try. And then this one's kind of fun because I've actually made a twisted version of this myself. And it was different. I was making taiyaki and I had some leftover batter, and so I turned it into a pancake shape and then filled it with I think I used red bean paste. Uh, and essentially made my own dorayaki. And so this is the kuri dorayaki, and it is essentially a fluffy bread pouch filled with beans and chestnuts, I believe, on this one. Um, so we're going to give this a try today as well. I want to start with the milk cake because I think it's going to have the probably the most subtle flavoring. Um, this one here, fluffy little guys. It smells like a sweet cake, which is a good thing. It's got a very like fluffy, dense texture. It's like it's both fluffy and dense at the same time. Does that make any sense to anybody? It's not really pound cake texture, but it would definitely go wump if I dropped it on the table. It smells like a cake. It's interesting. It's got a a gentle sweetness to it. It's very airy dense. These are contradictory descriptions, I know. Um, it's got a fluffiness, but it's definitely maybe dry is almost not dry bad. Dry like it needs to be smothered in sliced strawberries or something, like a shortcake. It is pretty tasty though. It's such a mellow sweetness. It's fascinating. And for anyone wondering, that's the brand there. And I can't tell you right offhand what that brand is. Eventually. I was gonna say it was she something, um, because I recognized the first character. Um, it might actually be essentially happiness. But it looks like it's Shiawasedo. 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 It's a long O. In case you're looking for the same brand, but that's pretty neat. Okay. From there, we're going to go to the Pandan Cake. Pandan. And this is Regent brand. Pandan. See, the sad thing is, I don't recall what it was that I was looking for. It was actually Pandan extract, I believe. Yeah. So, don't know my reason for the initial search, but it fascinates me. So, I'm going to try it. They're also a very, very fascinating green color, and that's because of the pandan. And I say that, and I see that there is food coloring in it, so I know pandan makes it contributes a green color to it, and you're like, that's not green. What are you talking about? Honestly, it still doesn't look green. Let me see if I can get zoomed in. It's a very subtle hint of green, um, like key lime pie almost green. It's similar texture as the milk bread, as far as being kind of a fluffy dense, but this one has a bit of like a almost a crust on the exterior. It does smell a little bit nutty. That's interesting. I was gonna say it's almost got. I was looking at the ingredients on the back of the label here. Um, the first thing I notice is it's very almost crumbly. it wants to turn almost into a dust, which makes it come across as a little dry. Not sure if that's a general thing or just this particular product, but I was thinking that it kind of has a hint of an almond flavor. There's definitely a nuttiness to it. But with that being said, it does potentially contain some coconut oil. But it doesn't actually have any nuts in it, according to the allergen information. It's a unique flavor. It really is. It's almost like an almond flour sort of flavor to it. That's fascinating. Mm. It's definitely very dry, this particular one. I don't know. I'm intrigued by the flavor profile to it. That it's like, okay, it's green. You wouldn't think green equals like nuttiness. At least I don't typically. Mm. And finally, if I can get it open, this may be a bit of an experience. Not the opening process, the product itself. So this is, oh, this is so cool. They're sort of individually packaged, but also not entirely. Next is the Kuri Dorayaki. And I'm probably mispronouncing everything, but hey, I tried. Not to mispronounce it, just to clarify. In here, looks like it says to microwave it for 20 seconds. If I'm reading this on the back correctly. Oh, nope. I was not reading that correctly. It's the address of the company that made it. So as far as red bean paste goes, or there's a word for it. Anko. Anko. That's what it was. I have had some prepackaged, pre-made, not whole bean Anko, and I have made my own makeshift Anko, which actually turned out quite fascinating. There's like 7 times the bean's weight in sugar in it. but I have not had whole bean anko. And I say that because the texture can be different. Um, because it is beans and they are sweet. And it was definitely a different thing for me to wrap my brain around initially. Um, but yeah, it's dense and fluffy at the same time. It seems to be a consistent theme. Here, let me hold this knot in front of me while I'm trying to talk. Um, dense but fluffy. It's like two fancy pancakes with the filling inside. I can definitely smell the bean. Definitely smell the bean. So, hmm, that is so much better than the dorayaki I made. Like, incredibly better. Obviously, the batter for this is very different than the batter that I used for my taiyaki. It's a lot fluffier. Mine was more rubbery, oh, honestly, when I made it. Hmm. The bean flavor of the anko isn't overwhelming. It's there, it still reminds you that it's beans, but the sweetness and the presumably chestnuts that are in with it balance it out well. That's really cool. I think of the three, honestly, this is probably the best one. The moisture content is really well balanced, so the cake or the pancake, I guess, the bread portion of it is not dry, and there's enough flavor in the filling that that it stands out without being just, oh, here's a whole bunch of bean in your face. It's wonderful. Hmm. Yep, that's very delicious. Mm, very cool. Okay, I'm not sure what brand this was. Um, manufactured for Walong Marketing Incorporated, but it's a product of Japan, so it was apparently made in Japan and shipped over. Um, Mi Mizuo, possibly on a brand name. I do not know, but they're delicious. So that's uh that's a win for sure. And that is everything I have for this review. It's different and it's fun. So we will see you in the next one. Until then, stay random. This has been another unexpectedly random product review.